Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Scalora Dance Sport. My name is Alessandro Scalora, and with me today, I've got an Italian TV legend, hostess of the Dancing with the Stars, Ballando con le Stelle. We've got the one and only for you guys this holly jolly Christmas time of year, Millie Carlucci.
Hello, hello, how are you?
Well, I'm doing quite well. Tell me, how is your day today?
Perfect. It's
Very
a
good.
work day, but when I'm here with my friends, with my dancers, teachers, colleagues, I'm so happy. We're doing my job, doing this thing on television it's a joy. It's really, I feel really lucky to be doing this. And I feel so lucky that our audience is still loving Dancing with the Stars after 17 years. So,
Sure, of course.
What can I ask for more?
It's one of the best TV shows that that Italy, along with the rest of the world, love to enjoy. Now, tell me, let's start from the very beginning of your career, of your life. How was your childhood like? Where did you grow up? Where did you study in the elementary school? Tell me.
So I'm from northern Italy, and so I grew up in Udine, which is a small town next to the Austrian border. So people there are sort of very serious, hard worker people, are working people. They are very reserved people, and totally different from people from southern Italy.
Sure.
But Italy is interesting because we're a mixture of these two different type of people, very outgoing, outspoken, and warm characters, tempers in the south, more reserved people in the north. So that mixture makes Italy the great country that we are.
Yes.
And so I grew up over there. I went to school over there. My father was a general in the army. Oh. He was a pilot, both of airplanes and helicopters.
Very nice.
And so we moved down to Rome exactly for this reason, because he was sent to be the commander-in-chief of the military airport in Rome, and so we had to move down to Italy. And I was around my college years, and so I spent my childhood doing lots of sports, but my main sport, the one that was my passion, was figure roller skating.
Wow!
So that's why I love dancing, because figure roller skating is very close to dancing, and it's a sport, a very hard one, because while in other sports, like in dancing, you can hurt yourself.
Sure.
But that's the exception. In roller skating, there is no way you're not going to hurt yourself, because when you learn how to jump, you fall down and you hurt yourself. So you have to count on a certain number of wounds and hurtful situations.
Sure, of course,
because it happens.
Possibility of getting hurt. Now, tell me, how did you find the connection between dancing? So you mentioned your father was a military man. How did you grow up with a military family and then find the connection to dance?
No, but after that, the connection didn't happen right away. I went to school. I did what in Italy it's called liceo classico, classical studies. That means that it's the type of school where you learn ancient Greek and Latin, and you're really educated into, let's say, history and all the older, the old culture. Yeah, everything is built around that. Then I went on to university to study architecture, but I was still doing my roller skating because I loved it so much that although I didn't have the time to compete anymore, because when I moved to Rome, it was hard to go 2 training sessions
Sure.
in the only ring that in Rome that was on the other side of the city. So it was a nightmare.
Sure.
So I had to stop competing. But I founded a small school of figure roller skating next to my
Okay.
house, and I started to teach kids, very young
Nice.
kids.
Very
And
nice.
I had the chance to go and have an interview in the first private channel. You know, Italy was for a long time a country where we only had one channel,
Mhm.
right?
Sure.
Then we had all of a sudden, at a certain time in the 70s, we had local channels that started to sort of sprout
Mhm.
and begin their life.
Mhm.
And so we had one in Rome, and I went there, interviewed about my school of roller skating, and I was noticed by the director of that segment of that show.
Mhm.
He asked me if I wanted to join their group of
Their team.
talent,
Mhm.
their team, and work with them. And it was the summer of 1977.
Mhm.
I worked there for 3 months, and then one very famous Italian, let's say, presenter, anchorman, celebrity, whose name is Renzo Arbore,
Mhm.
noticed me there, and he asked me to do a test for him and for his show. He had a Sunday
Okay.
show
Very
on
nice.
national television, and so the test went well. And so in September 1977, I had my first chance to be on television
So that's where
doing one
your career began.
show. That's how I began as an interviewer. And from that moment on, I never stopped. And slowly, it it's hard to say that it was a career, because in the beginning, I didn't think it was a career. I thought it was a sort of
Like a
something I
hobby.
did on the side.
Mhm.
But I was, yeah, just not a hobby, but something beautiful that but was not my career. But then slowly it
Became.
was more serious,
Mhm.
demanding. It became a career, and here I am.
I see. So I guess that kind of answered my next question, because I wanted to ask you, once you graduated from the university, did you have an idea or realize that your career would become what it is today?
Well, the trick was that I didn't graduate from university, because what
Oh.
happened is at a certain point, I realized that I had the chance to have a career in
Hmm.
this field. And I didn't want to graduate anymore. I was there and I just had to discuss my final, in Italy, it's called thesis. You know, you have the final
Mhm.
presentation.
Like the exam.
And I graduated, yeah, the final exam, but it was more than an exam. It's a round
Mhm.
examination in which you do something that covers the
All.
entire subject that you've
Mhm.
studied. But I didn't want to do it because I was afraid that my father, who was not happy about me working on television, would sort of convince me to start working as an
Mhm.
architect, and therefore I would be cut out of the
A bit.
entertainment world.
Mhm.
And so I didn't do my presentation. I didn't do my final thesis, and I didn't graduate, much to my father's dismay and sorrow and concern.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
really thrown away. He didn't want me to, because he said, well, from his point of view, he was right, because if
Mhm.
you're an architect, or you do any other type of, let's say, proper career, you have
Mhm.
something that's built on what you know, what you've studied,
Sure.
and you
Mhm.
go from one, step two, step three. If you're good, if you're consistent, you go on and become someone in your field.
Mhm.
In this world, in our entertainment world, I've seen many people of talent not really having the right chance
Mhm.
to shine and to show who they are.
Mhm.
So that might happen because a career in show business, it's a combination of different factors. You
Mhm.
need talent. You need to study. You need to be
People.
consistent. You need to have an incredible temper.
Mhm.
But you also need to have a lucky star.
Mhm.
You need
Of course.
To be there at the right moment with the right people for the right thing to do. Many times you read of people who have become stars doing a certain role in a movie that was rejected by someone else. And that someone else had lost a great chance because then someone else became a star through that role. So there is a percentage of luck and chance that, of course, concern each other. And now you were throwing away something that could be a real career for something that will lead you where? Are you sure you're going to be someone in this field? And of course, I was not sure. But then slowly it happened. It
became more and more clear, yes. I think we have many similarities. My father is actually quite similar to yours. My father has a PhD in physics. And he's the same way. He was always studious, very academic guy, has many degrees. And I began the university, and because I wanted to pursue my dance career even further, I decided to leave the university and focus a lot more on the dancing. So I agree 100% with what you said. Now, tell me, so you went to the university to study the architecture. You wanted to pursue more the TV. How did you become such a great interviewer and master your profession the way you have? Did you ever study cinematography or television? Did you take any advice from your colleagues, or how did you master the skills that you have to present on television?
Well, thank you. It's you're flattering me. But let's say that when at the beginning of my career, of course, I didn't have a clue about what was going on around me. I was my only foundation was my academic culture, and which counts, because when you're speaking and you have an audience in front of you, you need to have culture and foundation. You find yourself in many because sometimes we might be at loss with words and with ideas or concepts and stuff.
Sure.
But I had only that. And I wanted to learn more. And that's why then I went to acting school. And going to acting school and doing lots, not only acting school, but also going to many different teachers who taught me different things. Not for the sake of learning acting or learning cinematography or learning directing or learning voice or speech or whatever, but because you get a different frame of mind. Everything you learn, it's something that opens your mind to a different way of thinking. So it's not so much that specific skill that you learn, also because you can't really learn only by going to school.
Sure, of course, I agree.
Going to school is the beginning of something, but then you have to learn on the spot, doing it, making your mistakes, learning from your mistakes, learning from the experienced people that you meet and are around you and are better than you are, and then you learn by experience, and that's the learning process that you do when you finally work. But you need to begin this process somewhere. And so when you have some skills and some, you have a sort of a book of rules that you can read at the beginning, and you start from those rules, and then you see that many times, even breaking those rules, it's very fruitful. It works. It's great. No, but you have to. It's a long process. So what you need is to be always be humble. Try to listen to the other people. Try to be open-minded, and use what you've studied and what you've learned as a tool, which helps, but is not like you have the final word on everything because you've learned those things. Maybe you have the final word, or maybe other people are right. So you have to be always
ready to learn.
You have to consider yourself in a long-term trip towards achieving something more every day.
Of course. Yes. So always being able to take criticism or always wanting to learn, keeping that mentality.
Yeah. And actually, what I've learned is that when things go wrong, when you made a mistake, that's a really valuable learning time, because if things go well, they might go well because you've done something great, and that's perfect, or just because it was the right time to do certain things and they work in that time, and maybe they were not perfect, but you don't really learn. You learn when people criticize you, when you have to defend yourself, when you have to stand up after a fall. That's really a learning time.
How to not give up.
Yeah. Learning how to bring back all your strength after someone has rejected you, for instance.
And that mentality, you would say, is crucial to have in the show business, correct?
That's a mentality that's crucial, and that's something that you learn by experience. But I learned a lot from my sport, because sports really give you this frame of mind. Because in sports, you have a good day and you have a bad day. You fall and you shine. It depends.
Sure.
And when you fall, you have to learn how to go back to training the next day with a smile and with the same strength. So that's what you need. But that's what you need in the show business, in every type of career.
Yes, I agree. Let's move on a little bit to discuss now some Dancing with the Stars. Now, let's discuss how did it come about. So there's the Dancing with the Stars in the States. There's Strictly Come Dancing in England. Tell me, when you saw these shows, what happened?
The first one, the only one that I saw was the first one that was on air, which was Strictly Come Dancing, and it was 2004, and I was in London because my daughter was in boarding school in the UK, so I went there visiting her every weekend, and that Saturday I saw one of the first episodes of Strictly Come Dancing that was coming back after after many years, because in the UK they had Come Dancing, which was the first show that appeared, I think, maybe right after the war, and it was a show for professional dancers. It went on until almost 1999, I think. Then it stopped for a few years. And then they came back with a reboot that was Strictly Come Dancing. And the new concept they introduced was the idea that you didn't have two professionals. You had one professional dancing with someone who was a celebrity but didn't know how to dance. So this was the winning trick that made Strictly Come Dancing new and such a success.
Sure.
I watched it in that episode. I had so much fun, although I didn't know the dancers. I had so much fun because it was obvious that they were entertaining.
Sure,
they didn't know how to dance. They were, but I didn't. It was captivating. It was interesting. It was emotional. It had everything. So I went back to Italy that Monday, and I spoke with my boss. I was supposed to do another show in January. That was maybe September, I think. And I was supposed to do another show in January. And I said, no, we want to do this one. This is something new. They didn't believe that a dance show could be successful, because in Italy we were used to variety shows, like one-man shows, where you had the comedian being the main,
the protagonist,
the protagonist of the evening, doing a little bit of everything, and then you have dance numbers with group choreographers. They were a sort of let's say entertainment between someone who sang, someone who had the stand-up comedy act. So it was not really something that people found emotional, interesting. Was just an intermission between other things.
Right, right.
Here, the concept was different because you had the teacher and the student, and the student was famous. That was different concept. We tried it for 4 episodes. After the first episode, we were scheduled to do 4 episodes. After the first episode, we were so successful that they called us and said, you have to do 8 episodes.
All right.
Already something that was a series. And so we had this first series, and then it was 2005, and we're here in 2022.
2022. So tell me, in 2005, once you finished the first season, did you imagine that the show's success would become what it is today?
Well, we knew we finished the show in that was January, and we finished after 8 episodes, so it was the end of February, and we were already scheduled to do another show in September, Dancing with the Stars season 2 in September. So it was obvious that for the channel, this show was very valuable. To think to have such a long career, it was really unthinkable at the time. Also because usually entertainment shows last 4 seasons, 5 seasons. You know, then the concept sort of fades away. The interest,
first.
Becomes less and less active. So you sort of die.
Sure.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
And so it was a true surprise for everybody to see how this show has stayed very successful everywhere in the world. And in Italy this year, we're even more successful than we've been, let's say, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We have our ratings are comparable to the ratings we had 11 years ago.
Wow, congratulations.
So it's a rebirth of the show this year.
That is amazing. That's great to hear. How do you manage problems? Now, throughout the show, throughout the seasons, there's been many difficult situations, possibly between the contestants and the adjudicators, or possibly a technical issues, or the public losing their chill and they start ranting. Tell me, how do you go through these situations? How do you fix them? What goes through your head? A fight between a judge and a contestant, or a technical problem. Do you panic?
Well,
do you anxious? What goes on?
No, you can't panic. We're doing it live, so there is no way to panic, no time to panic, because you're there in front of a live audience of millions and millions of people in Italy, and you can't panic. But you have to think quickly. And what you do is you try and remind people that we're on live TV and that Rai One is the channel for the families. So you need to keep a certain attitude, a certain composure, a certain level of respect and education. You know, so you have to be compatible with what we are. We are Rai One, which is the most important
one,
network in Italy. And it's not easy. It's not easy because sometimes people, especially Italians, get so heated.
It's a moment of passion, yeah? Moment of passion.
Yeah. But we've always managed. So somehow we've always managed. And when you have technical issues, the only way to survive is to tell people we have a technical issue. Because it's very difficult to do a cover-up for something that obviously doesn't work. So you just say, this is happening. Now we try and solve this problem. Let's be patient together, and let's see what happens next. We have had people who had injuries during the show that fell down, sprained their ankles. We had to call the paramedics. And what can you do? You just have to survive the moment.
The show goes on.
And the show goes on, and people sometimes write on the social media and they say, why didn't you say, oh, let's go into commercial break? Because you can't. because commercial breaks are something that is scheduled. You can just call for a commercial break anytime you want to call for it. So if it's close to the time when you do to call for a commercial break, then you call for it maybe a few minutes earlier. If there is no commercial break in sight, you just have to survive the situation whatever happens.
Wow, that you inspire me, you know, because I previously, no, I'm serious, because I've been doing this Scalora Dance Sport channel for approximately 3 years now. And when I first started, I never learned editing. I never learned how to speak to a camera. So everything as I learned through experience, as you were mentioning before. And when I previously started, I was like, oh yes, let's do live events. Come on, let's in diretta. Oh my goodness. Without studying, that wasn't the greatest idea. So now I try to avoid live events unless I'm sure and I'm confident everything is going to be a little more smooth. So I understand what you're saying. I try to avoid. Actually, the last live event that I did was the International Marathon of Latin Champions, which Carolyn Smith participated in. And that was the last that we did.
Yes.
So let's continue, because those, yes, that live, it can get tricky. Now, we've mentioned difficult situations within the show, technical arguments. Let's discuss the most memorable. Tell me, what was the most memorable year or memorable time of the show since the start of it in 2005?
For me, the last year is always the one that for me is the most memorable, because I'm so totally into what happens and all the problems, all the different ups and downs of the show, that for me, I sort of erased the past. It's past, it's gone.
Sure.
But of course, we've had some rough times in the past. Like as I said, once we had a contestant who fell and really sprained her ankle. Actually, it was not the ankle; it was the knee. So badly she couldn't sit down anymore. So we had to call the ambulance and the paramedics, because she couldn't walk outside, and we wouldn't touch her, because until you know what's going on, you don't want to touch someone who says, I'm hurting. So, and there was no commercial break inside, as I said before, so we had to survive the moment. So we had some times when a contestant was so angry, just left the theater.
Another moment of action.
Yeah. So it happens.
I see. So we've discussed the technical issues, most memorable issues. Now let's discuss people. Okay, tell me, since the start in 2005, who have been some of your top favorite celebrities who have participated on the show?
We had so many. So many. When you think that the first year, the second year actually, we had Maradona, you know, the soccer player.
Yes.
Who is one of the biggest sports stars in the world, in history. And he was with us. Diego Armando Maradona e la sua reginetta Angela Panico. Diego Armando Maradona, Angela Panico. Because it was the year when he was he had that special operation done to his stomach to make it smaller and lose weight, and he was at the same time he was going back and forth between Italy and Argentina, because he was doing a show in Argentina every Tuesday night. So he was doing the show with us on Saturday night and one in Argentina on Tuesday night. And he shuttled between two continents. And after 3 weeks, he was totally sick, really sick. And his doctor sent me his blood test saying, look at what's happening to him. He can't do this. He has to stay here and take care of himself because he's losing weight through this thing he's doing. He has done this operation, is done to his stomach, and he's working here. And so we had to let him go. And it was a hard situation for us because we had this huge star who left the show after only 3 episodes. So we had our teacher, his teacher, flew to Argentina for one last dance in there. We were in satellite connection with Argentina. So this one was one of the very difficult situations that we had to solve, to survive. But we survived, and we're still here. So, but this is only one of the many great people who have been with us. We had Naomi Campbell, we had Gérard Depardieu. We had so many great people on the show. We had Ivana Trump or Marla. Yeah, we had so many international celebrities who took part of the show.
I recall when Trump was there, I loved it because I loved when she spoke. She said one phrase that I'll never forget. And I love it when Americans speak Italian because I love that accent. Some people find it hilarious, but she said, la mia bocca parla inglese, ma il mio cuore parla italiano. And I'm like, yeah.
That was so sweet.
I want it on a shirt.
Yeah.
I loved it. Okay, so we've discussed celebrities. Okay, we discussed the past. Let's talk about professionals, okay? Now, you've had some of the top professionals in the world on this show. You've had Ekaterina Vaganova, who was vice world champion. You've had Stefano Di Filippo, who's a world champion finalist. You've got Carolyn Smith. Tell me, how do you manage to have such professionals on the show?
Well, it's important for me to have great teachers because I'm sorry, because if you hear a noise, it's because my phone is ringing. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I forgot to switch it off. So anyways, we have some of the best professionals in the world. This year we have one of our new teachers whose name is Simone Casula, has been world champions, yes, in show dance. We have lots of people from Burn the Floor, which is a great ballroom show around the world. It's important to have professionals who have a great level of skills because we need to show strong dancing in the show. And then they also have to have a big experience in teaching. So it's a really it's a complex situation because you know that a great performer is not always a great teacher. It's like a great soccer player doesn't make a very good trainer. It depends on the situation. So we audition a lot of people. And then we try to match also their personalities, because the teacher has to be the right teacher and the right companion for our celebrity. So it's putting together this cast is not easy.
There's many factors, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a little bit of a surprise for you. So we're discussing professionals, and we mentioned Carolyn Smith. Well, Miss Carolyn Smith is here to say a few words. So let me present our little surprise, and here we go.
Ciao Milly, allora voglio raccontare questo che lo sai già, però lo riconto. Allora, da quando ci siamo conosciuti per la prima volta, oltre al fatto di Emiliano che quando mi ha chiamato, che tu volevi parlare con me, io ero giù a Napoli, io non credevo proprio, ho mandato in quel paese con quelle parole che tu non piace. Per fortuna che diciamo che non hai sentito la conversazione, però diciamo che dopo mi sono scusato con Emiliano e poi siamo incontrati insieme in tuo ufficio. Allora io sono andato giù là sapendo io dovevo dirti no, non vengo a Ballando con le Stelle, Però io non ho conosciuto Milly Carlucci, che è una donna meravigliosa, generale, molto dolce, però quando lei mette in testa qualcosa, normalmente 99,9% ottieni tutto. Anzi, devo correggere questo, 100% ottieni tutto quello che vuole. Allora, ma anche io sono esattamente come lei, soltanto che ha riuscito a beccarmi quel piccolo punto molto debole e eccomi qua. Dopo 15 anni sono ancora parte della famiglia di Milly Carlucci. Ti voglio tanto tanto bene, Milly.
Well, we'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to the one and only Carolyn Smith, who was able to send us this video. So thank you so much. So tell us, so she mentioned this story of how she began on Dancing with the Stars. Now, we heard her version of this story about a year ago when she was a guest on Scalora Dance Sport. We would love to hear your version of the story.
First of all, thank you, Carolyn. You're my sister. You're my little sister because you're much younger, and you know I love you very, very much. And we're a team, and we'll always be a team. And whatever life presents in front of us, we'll be in there together. She's the foundation of this show because she's the only real dance judge we have. We have 5 judges, but all the other ones are not dance judges. They are people who have different careers and who have strong opinions and experience in the world of dance. They've been in the show for many, many years. They've seen lots of dancers. They have talent and taste and good taste. And so I respect them a lot. But we have one great international teacher and judge, and that's Carolyn Smith. And she's the one who was the last saying on everything.
Sure.
And it's true what she said. She didn't want to be on television because she was so really involved in her career. She had so much to do that she didn't have the time to be on television. But somehow I managed to convince her, and I'm very happy I did it because she's
just
Dancing with the Stars wouldn't exist without her. She's our strength.
I agree. She brings a certain atmosphere to the ballroom, a certain sophistication that without her maybe wouldn't be there. I agree.
Exactly.
So let's discuss future goals of the show. Tell me, what are your goals for the future of the show? Where can we see the show going within the next 2 to 3 years?
Now, okay, it's in this line of work, it's very hard to say anything about the future. There is no
there's no certainty,
prediction skill because you don't know where television is going to go. Of course, we try and be very alert about any change and shifting in the mood of our audience. Our show is not only a dance show, which is very important to us, but it's also a show in which we tell the stories and we work on the personalities and the temperament of our contestants and the let's say emotional factor is very, very important. Maybe more than in other shows, but also you have to consider that in the US and UK, it's a show that lasts maybe 1 hour, a little over 1 hour. For us, it's a 4-hour show. We begin at 8:30 and we finish last Saturday, we finished at 1 o'clock in the night.
Oh my goodness.
It was really such a marathon. So we have so many things that go into our storytelling. And it's not only whatever happens when you dance. It's a lot of different factors. So we just hope to be always, let's say, synchronized with the mood and the time we're living in. Because we have to be with the audience. And we have to appeal to an audience which is changing very quickly.
Very quickly.
Because we have young people, we have middle-aged people, we have old people. So we have to be in tune with the times.
Mm-hmm. You always have to be keep it fun, keep it consistent, always tugging on the interest of the audience. I see. Now, a quick little funny question. Listen, you know, you're quite an international superstar. I'd love to know, when are you coming to the States? We need to see you in America. We need you here.
Well, you know, right now, this year and the next year, I'm very, very busy here because I have Dancing with the Stars now, and then I'm going to do the Masked Singer, the same group of writers and the same the creative group that works on Dancing with the Stars works on the Masked Singer. So we're busy until the summer. So for now, we're here. Let's see what the future has for us.
What the future has planned.
I
see. But I have another question for you. You know, another role that I love on Dancing with the Stars in Italy is the announcer who does the American accent. Now, I've gotten a bit of an audition for you ready. I prepared it, okay? Now, here's what I'm going to share my screen quickly, and I'm going to do a very quick audition for you, okay? As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical problems. I've got Carlucci here who gave me this. All right, here we go. So add to stream, okay? And here we go. Ivan Zetzeroni, 8. Fabio Canino, 9. Carolyn Smith, 10. Selvaggia Lucarelli, 8. Guillermo Mariotto, 0. Per un totale di 35 punti. Ora, io questo devo fare su Ballando, giusto?
You're so good. I'm gonna call Foxy John right now and tell him he really has to worry. There is a very tough competition lined up for him.
That's right. You know, of course. Well, Millie, let me thank you so much for joining me on Scalora Dance, for giving someone like me a chance to speak with you. I mentioned this before, but I really do mean it. You're a big inspiration to me. I love watching you work the public, work an audience. So I'd like to thank you for being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure.
Ballando con le stelle